I want to call this season a mulligan for the Atlanta Hawks. Today we'll be doing our offseason predictions, outlooks, and all that good stuff for the Atlanta Hawks. But you're thinking, Cyril, why are you calling this season a mulligan? Well, that's because the Hawks were supposed to be taking this whole new step with the DeJounte Murray. And before they fired Nate McMillan, it wasn't looking pretty. But I think Quinn Snyder gives this team hope and gives us a direction. Clearly, John Collins is on his way out. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade DeAndre Hunter to give Saddiq Bey an extension. I could see them choosing, hey, let's keep Saddiq instead of DeAndre. I mean, they could keep both. And another guy I could see, let me hear your thoughts, Clint Capella. You think we're going to finally see the ushering in of the Onyeka Okongwu era? So I expect the team to look different in certain ways. Also, can someone explain, did AJ Griffin get put in Quinn Snyder's doghouse? Because he played a bunch under Nate McMillan, and then when Quinn Snyder took over, he just stopped playing. Let me hear your thoughts on it. Let's get into this offseason predictions. So they went 41-41, and they lost in the first round. They have the 15th overall pick and the 46th pick. So one first round, one second round pick. Aaron Holiday's their only unrestricted free agent. Their restricted free agent is Trent Forrest, who, guess who Trent Forrest played for in Utah? Quinn Snyder. Don't be surprised if Trent Forrest stays. Now, Aaron Holiday, I don't expect. And look, consider the 28 games, including the postseason, since head coach Quinn Snyder took over in late February, as an audition for next season. Snyder took over an Atlanta team that had gone 31-30 and posted a 10-11 record before winning a play-in game and losing in the first round. Under Quinn Snyder, the Atlanta Hawks saw a jump in their offensive efficiency from number 11th to the 4th best offense in the league. Yes, they continue to rank bottom 10 defense efficiency. The biggest offseason question is if the backcourt Trae Young and DeJounte Murray can coexist not only next season but in the future. In 352 regular season minutes, when the two shared the court under Snyder, the Hawks had a minus 7.6 net efficiency, including a 111.7 offensive rating. For comparison, only 5 teams had a worse offensive efficiency. DeJounte Murray is entering the last year of his contract and likely will not sign an extension, while Young has 4 years and $178 million left on his deal. Considering that Atlanta has no financial flexibility and 14 players under contract, improvements within the roster will either come from having a full season under Snyder or via trades. So let's get right into it. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Ooh, baby. And as you guys know, the Atlanta Hawks have an interesting mix of players. They got a bunch of guys coming back, which is crazy to think about. But at the same time, they're nothing insane. They've already have $170 million committed in salary. Clint Capella makes 21. DeAndre Hunter makes 20. DeJounte Murray makes 17. John Collins makes 25.3. All right. It's definitely interesting to see this roster. Now, Bogdan Bogdanovic, who's a passable defender, good secondary ball handler, and a great scorer/shooter, has a 4-year, $68 million extension. All but guarantees that Atlanta will be in the luxury tax this offseason or next season. Atlanta's right at the $162 million tax threshold in guaranteed salaries and have an additional $12.1 million in non-guaranteed salaries between Bruno Fernando, Garrison Matthews, Vik Krjic, and Tyrese Martin. Tyrese Martin's good. And a first-round pick. The $174 million would push Atlanta into the first apron, limiting the amount of money Atlanta can take back in a trade. The contracts of Matthews and Fernando become guaranteed on June 29th. Since buying the team in 2014, owner Tony Ressler has not paid a luxury tax penalty. Now, the new collective bargaining agreement will force the Atlanta Hawks to get their future finances in order this offseason. Atlanta has $145 million projected in salary for 24-25, and that doesn't include a new contract for DeJounte Murray, Onyeka Okongwu, or Saddiq Bey. Keeping the roster intact from now would likely see Atlanta's payroll exceed $188 million, which would pass the second apron, putting additional restrictions on the Hawks. Atlanta will likely look at John Collins to trim payroll. Since signing the 5-year, $125 million contract in 21, Collins has been repeatedly mentioned in trade rumors. He averaged 13.2 points per game and saw his three-point percentage improve from 26 to 36% under Quinn Snyder. He's owed $79 million over the next 3 seasons. The new collective bargaining agreement did not help Atlanta when it comes to an extension for Murray. The guard is eligible to sign a 4-year, $114 million extension with the starting salary of $25.5 million. And the stat salary is $17 million less than the maximum salary in the first year. The Hawks should be aggressive in extension talks with Onyeka Okongwu and Bay. Okongwu ranked 5th in total second chance points and top 10 in offensive rebounding since February 5th. And a new contract for Okongwu would start in 24-25. The last year, Clint Capella is under contract. And after being acquired from a trade, Saddiq Bey started 6 games, averaged 14.7 points, 50% from the field, and 40% from 3. He has a 56.3 effective field goal percentage under Snyder, and that's up from 49.5% with the Pistons and the Hawks prior to Snyder's arrival. And both of these players are eligible to sign a 5-year extension up until October 23rd. And this is a team that needs defense. The Hawks ranked 29th in paint points allowed after February 8th, and they had the second most layup and dunk attempts since Quinn Snyder took over. And they mortgaged their future. So basically, the future looks bleak, especially if Murray leaves. Still, the Hawks do have the future for their first in this year's draft as part of the Kevin Huerter trade. You know, they have a top 14 pick, protected pick to the Kings, and if it isn't paid, it goes to 25 and becomes top 12, and then it goes 26 to top 11. And the Hawks are allowed to trade their 2023 first, the Sacramento first, and a first and 29, and they have 5 future second rounders. Now, if we want to talk about a guy, you know, some defenders they can target in free agency that might not break the bank, all right? Let's go ahead and talk about those people because I think it would be interesting to see who could, you know, possibly. Hey, all right, right here. My computer's glitching out right now, but I think we're good. But one guy we can look right here is Terrence Davis off the bench. Could be a guy who provides, you know, energy and excitement. Like Terrence Davis, he can score a little bit. He can be probably a guy you bring in on a mid-level exception, a scoring guard who doesn't provide much in the way of defense, but can occasionally get hot off his dribble. Like, I don't think he'd be the best defender, but he could be someone cheap. But I think more of O'Shea Brissett, versatile swingman who provides energy and defense as well as scoring off the ball. You also have a guy like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, a quick long guard who can score from all 3 levels and can be a pest on defense. Hamidou Diallo, a very athletic guard who can give the team, you know, some little bit of scoring in transition while also providing defense. Gabe Vincent, not the most consistent player, but can get hot as a spot-up shooter from outside. Does provide good toughness on defense and can score a bit off the dribble. We'll give him a backup point guard. Troy Brown is a wing who can provide some spot-up shooting, defense, and scoring off of slashes. Then you got Torrey Craig, a swingman who specializes in defense, playing with a lot of toughness on that end of the floor, capable of hitting open threes, but won't give you much else on offense. Max Strus, he tries on defense, but he's just limited on that end due to athleticism, but he'll space the floor. Rui Hachimura, you know, he's starting to show some defensive ability. I don't know if he's the guy you really want. And it starts to get, I think the other guys would be too hard. Like PJ Washington, he would provide some versatility on defense, but I think he'd be too expensive. And then you start to go higher in the list, and you're like, ooh, is that going to be possible? Like Josh Hart would be cool, in my opinion. Bruce Brown's another guy, tenacious defender, high energy. Would love him here. Grant Williams, another guy that I would go out here. And KJ Martin's a guy that I really like, capable defender, potential for more there, off-ball slasher, transition threat, shows some shooting ability. Truly, you know, same thing with Trey Jones and Ayo DeSumo, all guys that I would target. But that's going to be the video for today. I hope you guys did enjoy. Like, comment, and subscribe.